Somehow we're already at Autumntide. I can't believe how fast this summer went. So much going on, so much busy. So I'm looking forward to harvest season where we can slow down a little bit and enjoy some of the fruits of our labors. So the autumn fete, Autumntide, coincides with Lunasa, coincides with August 1st, just to make it simple. But of course, you can adjust the celebration of this particular festival to suit how the land is speaking to you where you are now. Where I am, right around August 1st, it's still pretty hot outside and a lot of the plants are still growing, but if you really slow down and pay attention, you can find many signs of the coming autumn, which is the time of year when the plants begin to retreat, drawing their life force back down into their roots, getting ready for winter slumber. The fruits are ripe and falling off the plants, either into the mouths of humans and other animals or back into the soil for the mystery of compost. And everything just feels like it starts to slow down a little bit. The days start to feel a little bit shorter. Maybe the weather starts to become a bit cooler. And there's this invitation to kind of wrap up the intensity of summer. And so I think that after a long hot summer, we all look very much forward to that. So a few ways that we can align to the season, align to the autumnal power, step into rhythm, and of course, practice the green art, practice green sorcery, which is about entering into relationship with our allied spirits and honoring them and strengthening our bonds and our kinship with them. So a couple of ideas here. First, remember that while a lot of us are, tired and excited and spun out maybe from a long summer, our hunter-gatherer and agricultural ancestors would have been under a great amount of duress at this time of year because what the harvest brings in would define how easy the winter ahead will be. If the harvest is not good, winter's going to be pretty rough. If the harvest is abundant and there's plenty of food to get everyone through the winter, then maybe there's a little bit more peace. So I think it's healthy to a certain degree to kind of lean into that feeling a little bit and really take stock of not just the literal harvest of plants, of medicine and food, but also what we've accomplished, what we've hustled for, what we've worked for, how we've invested our time and our energy to grow and create and manifest things, because hard work is energy ecology, right? That the plants are working hard, the people who grow our food work hard, the animals work hard, the seasons work hard. In order to have an abundant harvest, we have to put in the process, we have to put in the work. So this is a really great time to just look and see if there's any little bit of last things we can do to really wrap up the more active phase of the year in a positive way, on a positive note. If there's any little final push we can do to put more energy into what we're trying to create. Another big aspect traditionally of this time of year is to pay rent, to acknowledge that it is the spirits of place, the land spirits, the plant spirits, even our animal allies who have done a greater deal of the work than we probably have. And that we're sort of doing this preemptive Thanksgiving, right? As a bit of work of magic. That if we spend some time in this home stretch of growing to really just express gratitude and love and devotion to these spirits who take such good care of us, it's really a nice way to just put some extra love into the process, a little more energy, a little more motivation, and make sure that that cycle of sacred reciprocity is fulfilled. We will, of course, revisit paying the land spirits and all of that as part of the end of our harvest festival, but there's no reason why we can't start now. On the medicinal front, this time of year, as we kind of hit August 1st, we move into the energy of water. And so things begin cooling and easing and flowing downwards, the days again become shorter and cooler, and there is a dampness that arises from the land, even though it's hot outside. The leaves begin to fall off the trees, the fruits begin to come to harvest, and this is all ruled by water. So medicinally, we can take care of the liquid, the water that moves within our body. I like to do a little gentle herbal detoxification before we enter into the slower, more sedentary parts of winter. Take care of your urinary tract, your kidneys, your bladder, your lymphatic system, your blood. Just get all of that toned up, because those systems, especially the lymphatic system, has no pump of its own. It really requires movement and sweat in order to do what it does. And as we move into winter, lots of us slow down. We spend less time outside because it's freezing cold, more time sitting, more time being sedentary. So giving those systems of the body of detoxification, the lymphatic and blood, just a little bit of love. You don't have to do anything serious. This isn't a spring cleanse. This is just making sure everything's nice and toned, nice and happy. If there's anything on your radar, deal with it now, so that you don't sit on it all winter long, right, and make it into a real big problem. I also think about emotional release. If there are emotional things which are ruled by water that you're holding on to, this is the time to lean into what nature is doing, which is letting go, releasing, sending into compost. So do that work however you want to do it, so that you're not, again, sleeping on it all winter long and letting it settle into your bones. We don't want that. Finally, I think about autumn time as a great opportunity to really investigate how you take care of your skin. Making sure you're staying hydrated, looking at, if you're using detergents in your skincare and maybe reassessing that, leaning into, oils and hydrosols that nourish and build and support the skin, and really just taking the opportunity to love the skin that you're in. It's our biggest organ. It's our first line of defense. It's our natural hedge, our natural boundary. So as we start creeping towards the dark half of the year, this is a very good system to give a little bit of attention to. So a few really simple ritualistic things you can do to celebrate the autumn fete. Number one, pay rent. One of my favorite ways to do this is whatever space you call home, whether you have a house or an apartment or a massive garden or a plot of land where you grow, whatever the case is, I like to pace clockwise the entire area, whatever kind of feels like the space that you take care of, that you're in relationship with. And I will carry a nice beeswax taper with me and be slow and methodical. Stop at every single little landmark, every stone, every plot, every plant, every tree, every area, and really just share some breaths, connect, offer your gratitude, think about memories of those places. If you found any areas of the place where you live numinous, meaning that it is clear that that area is inhabited by a spirit or spirits, there's a powerful presence there, offer a small tear of bread and a libation, pour a little bit of mead or some tea or a little whiskey, whatever for them. And as you do that, you're pacing around the property clockwise. You're kind of just saying hello to everybody, checking on everybody, saying thank you, acknowledging all the work that's been done, and giving them a little food, a little love. And this is great. If you have a group of people or a family, somebody can carry a candle, somebody can ring a bell, somebody can do a drum, somebody can make the offerings, and you can kind of, make a thing out of it, right? And really honor the spirits of place and your relationships with them. So another thing you can do, and this doesn't have to happen real early in August, maybe closer to the early September part of the autumnal season, is to, plan that final outdoor party. Have that last hurrah, get that last bonfire in while it's still nice and warm out. We can, of course, party well into October, November outside, but then we have to bundle up and it's a little bit more of a process. Usually, late August, early September, we can still go out comfortably, and be out late, and it still feels nice outside. So plan that party, celebrate, have people over, celebrate with the land spirits and with your human and animal companions. It's a really nice way to sort of wrap the season up, put an exclamation point on the season. This is a great time of year to make candles, so you don't have to be an expert at this. You can just get local beeswax and wicks and do hand-dipped beeswax candles that you can then have on hand to get you through the dark half of the year, right? We're using this last little energetic, bright time of year to do the things that will help us prepare for the coming dark half of the year. So making candles, preserving and fermenting foods, salting foods, stocking up on firewood, like just all the things that we know we will need figuratively, literally, spiritually, energetically to get us through the winter ahead. For me, a lot of my work focuses on creating the medicines that I will need to give my community during the winter months. Harvesting those herbs and making those tinctures and salves and soaks that get us through the cold, through the dark, through the gloomy, through our ancestral work, through our sleeping adjustments, all of that stuff. So this is the time to do that work. And finally, a cool thing you can do with the last flush of flowers and fragrant seeds and maybe pitches and resins, and whatever else you have access to, is dry all of them out and put together a little jar or a pouch of dried grains and beans and flowers that you can use throughout the winter as a kind of a pre-made offering mix for the spirits that you work with. This is a really nice way to keep the energy of the growing season alive through the dark half of the year, to be able to go out to your favorite tree in the middle of winter when they're resting and have a beautiful, fragrant, colorful offering to place for them, to acknowledge that the relationship is still there even while they are active more on the other side of the hedge than our side of the hedge, when they're in their roots instead of their fruits, is really beautiful. So, Autumn Fete, wishing you a abundant harvest, the blessings of the cornucopia, and whatever you do, I would love to hear about it. So use the comments, let me know what you're thinking. And we have a bunch of really great courses and monthly advanced classes loading right now, a bunch of them on the way. So jump over to my Patreon, patreon.com/thegreenart, and see what we're up to. See you next time.